What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Single Guy FAQ. Today, we're going to be talking about why men need to approach women. So you go out to the bar and you see like a bunch of girls like talking with each other, and guys are just coming up to them, trying to talk to them, and they can basically decide if they like a dude, if they want to keep talking to him or not. And that's their night. And our night is we have to keep going up, talking to different girls, trying to get them to like us, and we can experience a lot of rejection in that scenario. It seems unfair that women can just kind of sit there and be in judgment of men and pick the ones they like. Now, granted, this is a hookup environment, which I think in general in life, when people are just trying to hook up, that's more advantageous to men. Usually, not all the time. There are plenty of women who just like to hook up, but it makes sense that men would have to go up and put themselves out there to pursue women. Because if you look at it from a biological standpoint, I mean, what's the cost from each side? In the most extreme cases, the cost for a woman would be 9 months of pregnancy, and then possible death when the child is born. And then she's got to raise the child. I mean, it's completely life changing, obviously. For a guy, the cost is going to be, 5 minutes of awesomeness and a little bit of semen. So when you compare the two costs, you can definitely see why women are going to be more cautious, and they're going to be a little bit more choosy. They're not going to put themselves out there talking to a lot of guys, because in addition to that, putting themselves out there and talking to a bunch of different dudes that they don't know is potentially dangerous for them, because men are stronger than women. We can overpower them, and if she's putting ourselves in those risky scenarios, something bad could happen for sure. So from a biological standpoint, we see how men men definitely are the ones who should be going and pursuing women and approaching them. Additionally, from a societal standpoint too, I think it still favors men, because look, if a girl walks up to a guy that she thinks is cute or hot or whatever, and she tries to talk to him and he rejects her, he's not really into her. Not only does she experience the rejection, but she's also a slut. It's also implied that she's a slut because she's going out there, going for guys. It's a lot more of a cost for her, as opposed to just a guy. We just get the rejection. And I think as a man, we're probably a little bit more attuned to have emotional stability and not be thrown off by those sorts of things. It still hurts, dude. It still fucking sucks, man. When I was going out, and I'd approach 20 girls or something like that, and none of them will be with it, then obviously I feel like shit that night. But when you look at the cost between the two, it becomes more or less fair. Obviously now when I go out, I'm a little bit more picky about who I go up and talk to. I kind of know the scenarios that are good for having a good interaction, so I'm a little bit more careful with that. But dude, obviously, like before, it sucked, and definitely I haven't gotten to a place. I'll never get to a place unless I get famous, which is when this kind of flips. Is If you're famous, women come up to you, but if you're an ordinary dude, like 99.99% of the population is, then you have to go up and approach women. I mean, even if I go out, rarely I'll get like a girl that will come up and will start talking to me. And if she does, I'm probably like, I gotta get the fuck out of here, because I can't be seen talking to you. um, some of my really really good looking and tall friends, they get approached sometimes, but it's nowhere near even at the level of like a mediocre looking chick. That's really how it's skewed. And it makes sense because for all the reasons that I just gave. And if you're looking for a place where you can meet women and approach them in a certain way where you're not having to get judged for that reason, I think online dating could be a good one, because on Tinder you're just swiping a bunch, so it's not that much of a rejection. Obviously, if you swipe 100 times and don't get a match, which just happened to me, then it's kind of frustrating. But that the cost is a lot less. Also, if you get a dog, dude, some of my friends have a dog just to get girls, and it fucking works. Because you go to the dog park or whatever, the dogs meet, and you can talk about the dogs, and there's no going up and me trying to get you and then you saying no or you saying yes. There's just not a lot of that. It's not weird. If you want those types of interactions, get a dog. But if you do get a dog, make sure you take care of it. All right, guys. Well, that's mostly what I have. Let me check my notes real quick to see if I left anything out. Um, but yeah, I mean, the one thing that I will say this is that, you know, a women's world where her rejection is a little bit different than ours. I think ours is definitely more direct and can be a lot more directly painful, but hers is like, let's say a girl goes out, gets all dolled up, and then she goes out and not very many guys approach her, almost none, or the guys that do approach her are kind of weird, creepy, and she doesn't like them. That's also a bad night for her too. So it's not all clear cut, and there's definitely positives and negatives to both sides. And look, if you want to get angry about this and you think that this is not fair or whatever, really try and put yourself in another person's shoes. Look at the things that I've just mentioned, and look, at the end of the day, life's not going to change for you. You're going to have to change to get the things that you want. And I think that's the beauty about being a guy, is because we can actually go out and get the things that we want, as opposed to women who just, you know, a lot of times they have to be a lot more indirect, where they have to kind of like be near the dude a lot, or like try and make eye contact and things like that. We have the opportunity to go a lot more direct, and there's definitely pros and cons with it, but there's definitely a lot of pros, and I for one prefer this type of scenario. So let me know what you guys thought of this. Let me know if there's any way that I can improve this channel. Let me know in the comment section below, and good luck out there.